Good day everyone, I am CJ Obante Manalo from BSH M1B, and this is my video presentation for the finals. So now we are going to proceed from my topic, which is the module 4 that included the imitations theory of art and beauty, the philosophical theory of music, and the last one is the representations theory of art. The first one is the imitation theory of art and beauty. Imitation defined as applies to artwork to create a realistic appearance or a realistic looking object and scenes that clearly mimic what see in the world around us. And also, it is a purpose of imitationism is to portray the subject matter as realistic as possible. If you understand what I'm saying, that the imitation is the one thing that there has a real one, and they're going to create a new one that's not that real. For example, to the phone, we all know that some people are looking for the phones like not expensive. They are looking for less expensive. So that the imitations one they do like that because it's like an expensive or it's like unreal, they are going to create an imitations to make it realistic but it is really look like an a real because of their appearance. I have a three example for imitation theory of art and beauty. The first one is the statue of Zeus at Olympia. The statue of Zeus at Olympia is a classical sculpture that created by Phidias, and this is sculpture that aims to shows the ideal proportions and beauty of human body according to the standards of their time. And the next one is the Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa was created by Leonardo da Vinci, and it is part of the Renaissance art. It was shows an effort to provide a realistic presentation of man. The detailed use of perspective, lights, and shadows to contribute to the goal of imitating reality. And then the last example for imitations of theory, art, and beauty is the Gleaners. The Gleaners was created by Millet's painting on 1857, and it was a depicting everyday life and scenes from society, especially from the rural. It shows that the peasant women gathering the remaining grain after the harvest with a high degree of detail and realism. And that's it for the imitations theory of art. And next one is the philosophical theory of music. The music can influence our emotions by evoking responses from different parts of our brains, and the exposure to music from a young age will have a positive impact on learning ability to learn. And also music impacts our memory, and that when a song is linked to a certain piece of information, it is easier to recall that information when we hear the song. And that's right, I do really felt that one when I one music or one lyrics appears on my ear and then I hear it. One thing I do always had an informations and it easy to recall. And then there are several aspects to this theory that examine how we understand and appreciate music as an art. But how can we understand the music as an art? So I had three example here at philosophical theory of music. The first one is the musical expression. That musical expression, how can we understand the music if it is sad, if it is a happy, and how can we felt about that music that they song. It is a how if how they pronounce the word, how they give an impact to that music? How can they brought that music it nicely if it's soft or angry? And that's the musical expression. And next one is the Plato and Aristotle regarding to the music. Plato and Aristotle in their works, Plato and Aristotle discuss the role of music and educations in moral development. For Plato, music has the ability to influence the human soul and behavior. And we all know that was true. That the music can affect and also can influence our behavior and also our soul. And then for Aristotle, on their hands, that music is a form of catharsis or a way to release emotional tension. And also that was right. By creating a music and also listening a music, we can release our emotional tensions. Like we can express our feelings so that it can lessen what we felt like that. And that's it for Plato and Aristotle's on their music's view. Next one is for the Hanslick on the musically beautiful. And Hanslick believed that the beauty of music lies in its formal properties such as melody, harmony, and its structure. And we really believe that, and I also believe that the music can make it beautiful to their melody and harmony and structure. Like when we are listening a pentatonic songs like that, or an instrumental, we felt like it was a beautiful to hear it in our ears, like it was a perfect and also can make us move by the melody, harmony, and the structure of the music. And that's it for the philosophical theory of music. And for the last one of the module 4, which is the representation theory of art. First and foremost, that is the representations theory of art. The representation theory of art is a theory that states the art should represent or depict reality. So in order, words or arts aims to present objects, people, or scenes from the real world or concepts in a way that can be understood and express the truth or idea it represents. And in overall, the representations theory of art is the ability to provide a realistic depictions of the world and the human experience, emphasizing accuracy, detail, and the communication of ideas and emotion. And by that, I have a three example also here, which is the photorealism. That's the first one. The photorealism was in a modern art. Photorealism is such a genre in which artists such as Chuck Close and Richard Estes create painting that are highly accurate and detailed. And like photographs like that, like was the photorealism. It's like a photograph. It's like a real camera that we took, but it was a only painting. And for example, the Richard Estes works depicting urban scenes aim to show the exact appearance of a place at a particular time. And that's it for the photorealism. And the next one, we have the literature and theater. And by that, we all know we are familiar of War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy and the Hamlet by William Shakespeare and use words to represent character, scenes, and events, and that detailed descriptions and dialogues aims to provide a realistic representation of human experience. That they are creating a scenes or a literature or a theater just to portray what is the real happens in our world to become a realistic. And that's it for the literature and theater. And the last one is the Stonebreaker. The Stonebreaker in 1849 depicts two workers breaking stone. And that was showing the realist style and detail of the character, and their environment aims to to show the reality of the lives of ordinary people. And that's how they are breaking the stones, how they are mining, how they are doing those things as that are able to live for them. And that was a perfect called as a stone breaker. And that's it for the module 4. Okay, now on module 5, the first one is formalist theory of art. What is the formalist theory of art? The formalist theory of art is an art appreciations is a theory that states the value of art should be evaluated based on its formal elements such as form, composition, color, line, texture, and other physical characteristics. So for the formalist theory of art, I have a three example. The first one is the op art or the optical art. It's a style of visual art that uses optical illusion. Artwork under op art aim to manipulate the viewer's eyes to create the illusion of movement, vibration, popping, and out of patterns, or having a three-dimensional effect form of two-dimensional image. And the next one is the suprematism. The suprematism is a creations under use simple geometric shapes such as square, circle, lines, and rectangle. And then the last one is the tinalak. So what is the tinalak? It is made from Filipino also. It's like anmalong. Then we all know that everyone in us has a familiar of that. And the next one is the abiraski. The abiraski is mostly we saw at the wall creating at the other country, especially in India. We can also create here in the Philippines. And that's it for the formalism theory of art. The next one is the expressionist theory of art. When we say expressionist, it is a thing that we want to express our feelings. We want to express one thing. So that the expressionist theory of art is a theory that states that the main purpose of art is to express the emotions, feelings, and inner experience of the artist or us. And I had a three example. The first one is the Edvard Munch. It's a famous painter known for his work The Scream, which became iconic in art world. His work often reflects his personal experience, emotions, and inner feelings. It is a he felt that the emotions that he felt he expressed it by creating a painting. And then the next one is the Christ carrying the cross is an important theme in art found in various mediums such as painting, sculpture, and so on. Art with this theme shows the humility, concerns, and sacrifice of Jesus for the salvations of mankind. The last one is the Smiling Two Filipinas or the Smiling Filipinas. It is an artwork created by the famous Filipino artist Fernando Amarcelo in 1959. Amarcelo is famous for his painting that shows beautiful Philippines, landscape, farm scenes, and happy Filipinas and natural setting. And by that, as you can see for that painting, it is portraying how the Filipino is, how beautiful the Filipino is, and how the landscape, the last one is the aesthetic hedonism. The aesthetic hedonism is a view of theory of art that values enjoying art because of the pleasurable or pleasure it brings. And this theory puts into motions that idea that achieving aesthetic pleasurable or pleasure or enjoyment from art is the primary purpose of viewing and appreciating artwork. Aesthetic hedonism is a thing that you makes happy and you appreciate the artwork of one artist. And then I had a two example of it, the pleasurable. Pleasurable refers to the pleasure that arts brings to the individual. It's the feeling gained from the appreciating beauty, cravings, happiness, and joy from the work of art. This satisfaction can be result of the individual discovery of various aspects of art such as aesthetics, emotions, and personal experience. Right? When we experiencing the pleasurable or the pleasure, it makes us happy because it's as pleasure. And then the next one is the not pleasurable. And aesthetic hedonism can occur when an individual does not experience pleasurable or happiness or enjoying an work artwork. They are not that happy. They have emotions like sad. They are not gaining happiness. They are only for a sad. They didn't get the pleasure of that. That's why that not pleasurable. And that's it for the module 5. On module 6, we have an institutional theory, aesthetic functionalism, and action theory. First, what is institutional theory? The institutional theory of art appreciation is a perspective on understanding of art that refers to the role of institution, such as museum, galleries, and academies, and other art organizations in developing and receiving the meaning of a work of art. Then, rather than focusing solely on the technical aspects or aesthetic value of a work, institutional theory emphasizes the contextual aspects and institutions that shapes how society evaluates and appreciates it. On institutional theory, I have an example here. First one is the Carlo J. Caparas. Carlo J. Caparas' work can be discussed in the context of art and culture in the Philippines. He is not directly related to the institutional theory of art. This theory focuses more on analysis of institutions such as museum, galleries, academies, and other organizations and their role in the constructions of meaning and acceptance of artwork in society. One of his creation is the Ang Panday, Darna, and so on to those many film here in the Philippines. And the next one is the Pablo Picasso. Pablo Picasso was a prolific artist who demonstrated a wide influence and ability in the art world. His work show his great skills, imagination, and deep understanding of social and human issues. And that's for the institutional theory. The next one is the aesthetic functionalism. First, what is the aesthetic functionalism? Aesthetic functionalism is a theory that states that value and beauty of work of art depends on how it function and serve as a specific purpose of function. And this theory suggests that the form and functions of an artwork cannot be separated, rather be beauty of an object is closely related to how well it fulfills its purpose. Then one of the best example here is the Sydney Opera House. The Sydney Opera House is one of the most famous building in Australia. And Australia that was the important symbol and a prime example of modern architecture. Why it says that it is one of the best example because the Sydney Opera House is not just a beautiful, it's also a functionalism. The beauty of it always be function. And the next one is the action theory. First, what is the action theory? The action theory is a theory that focuses on the process of making art, especially of making art using your actions and movements of the artist while creating a work of art. This theory is primarily associated with the abstract expressionism movements, particularly the style of actions painting. Popularized by Jackson Pollock, one of the best when it comes to doing an action theory because of his drift painting. You need the next example is Yoko Ono. Yoko Ono letting him to cut his dress, to cut it by the audience. By that, it can shows and also it can recognize that it was part of the action theory. And that's all. That's my present video presentation for the art appreciations finals. Thank you and God bless, ma'am.